From the first movie and up until recently, Walt Disney movies have been saturated with the gender stereotypes on men and women. Take Cinderella, for example. She's a woman who cooks, cleans, her life is in the home. This implies that women don't need any special skills or a job outside of homely duties, and because they are the superior group, white men do not have to do the dirty work such as housework. The most inferior group does it, usually poor women of color. Not only does Cinderella imply this stereotype, but it also presses the point that being beautiful and outwardly appealing is the most important aspect a woman can have, especially when looking for a man. Physical appearance is often an obsession for people in U.S. society, especially people that are privileged enough to have time and money to attend to their bodies. The pressure to look right can be internalized as profound self-disapproval. Even for people who would be considered attractive within their communities, the dominant culture of obsession with youth, muscles, whiteness, blondness, and thinness undermine positive attitude for many. This is displayed when Cinderella arrives at the ball. The prince falls in love with her the moment she walks into the ballroom, not the moment she speaks, not the moment that she states an opinion, and not the moment he sees her personality. The prince falls in love with her beauty. Cinderella is pressured by society and family to look pretty enough for the ball. Just as Cinderella is pressured back in the 1600s, women today are pressured to look their best at all times. Today, even though there's a lot of social media giving attention to perfect bodies, those perfect bodies should be further enhanced to impact the personality and individuality of the person, rather than just being a source of attraction to males. Appearance can be used for having a good presentation in the workplace. It can further be utilized by setting some professional goals and objectives in the field of cosmetics and beauty, work as a model, or in any other media industry. Today's Cinderella won't get married and won't spend time for the beautification of her domesticated life, but the prime trait of today's Cinderella would be the possession of her own wills and desires rather than just being a slave of opinion. Today's Cinderella would be more multitasking, skilled, sophisticated, and efficient. She would also be comfortable taking care of the home as well if she was willing to do so. She would have a multi-dimensional approach toward the latter than just thinking about one dimension and taking care of her home. Cinderella has a lot more potential rather than just taking care of the home, cooking, cleaning, and pleasing her prince. This shows that the principles of women empowerment would not merely work for the building the confidence of Cinderella, but would also allow other women to stay competitive in society. This environment of competition and race would ultimately raise the standards of society. A prosperous society would always require the equal participation of men and women. Cinderella was being underutilized by just engaging her in domesticated tasks, but now Cinderella shall struggle to work on herself and strengthen herself to contribute positively in the society. Another movie that has created gender stereotypes for women is the Disney movie Mulan. One of the biggest gender stereotypes in this movie is the superiority men have compared to women. In the beginning of the movie Mulan, she is ready to be evaluated by a matchmaker for future matrimony. In the process of getting dolled up and preparing to be evaluated on physical appearance, one of the girls says, "Wait and see, when we're through, boys will gladly go to war for you." This is incredibly repressive and shows that boys are meant to be masculine and girls are meant to be at home. Mulan is constantly reminded to be quiet and demure as to be the perfect daughter. She is expected to get married, be quiet, and stay at home being a perfect wife. Instead, she takes her father's place at war and disguises herself as a male. In reality, back in this time, she would have been killed for such a crime. Helena Zia, a Chinese woman, recalls in her article From Nothing to Consciousness the stereotypes she had to face while growing up. Zia recalls when applying for colleges, her father saying, "An unmarried woman belongs at home with her parents." In the movie Mulan, it is unacceptable to disobey a father, let alone bring dishonor to the family by jetting off to war impersonating him. Mulan sees herself as failing as a woman, which is why she joined the war, to hope to find something she could do right. Her process was, if I failed at being a woman and daughter, maybe I could make a good man. When Mulan goes to warn Li Shang ignores her and does things his way, which plays into the stereotype that men think women are below them. If Li Shang would have listened, there would not have been a battle. Even when warning Li Shang, Mulan did not care that she was a woman and the consequences that would follow if she fought. Even during the battle, Mulan used her knowledge of a woman to help the cause. Mulan disguised men as women and snuck them into the castle, proceeded to use shawls to climb the emperor's building. If we were to remodel this movie today, it isn't Mulan we would remodel. Disney did a great job at showing women ahead of their time. Mulan was an early example of the feminist movement happening right now in our society. China is a character that needs to be remodeled. More specifically, those Chinese traditional and conventional ethics need to be considered once again to actually cope with the global trend. The society in Mulan gives it an eye of inferiority toward females. Women should be empowered with abilities, potentials, talent, and power to compete in the world. Mulan might have been able to do a lot more if she didn't have to face all those hardships and shortcomings by her family and surroundings. The movie Mulan could have been modified, the behavior shown by Mulan's father. Her personality could have been more open and productive to be useful in different spheres of life. She shouldn't have been forced to just live at home and take care of domesticated issues arising at home. She had a lot more to discover within herself, which remained impossible due to the stereotypical and unsupportive behavior towards her. One thing was common when comparing these characters. It was the liberty, freedom, and support to back themselves.
Created using Powtoon.